G'day, welcome to Tales and Ales at BentSpoke Brewing Cave. Tales and Ales is all about the stories behind the beer. It's all about the stories that are connected with our ales here in the brew pub. So we're going to take you on a journey. We're going to talk to some of the ingredient suppliers. We're going to talk to some of the crazy ideas that we've come up with all our beers. We're going to go and learn from the farmers what they do with all the ingredients. And most of all, you're going to hear about all these little stories that the brewers here at BentSpoke have come up with in all the beers that they produced here in the brew pub. We're going to start today with our lovely infuser or hoppinator that's on the bar. Let's go and have a little look at that and pull it apart and understand what it does and what it contributes to the beer. So here we are at our little infuser, our hoppinator. I first came up with this idea when I was in the US way back in 2004 and got connected with a brewery over there called Dogfish Head Brewing. They came up with a thing they called a Randall, which was their idea of an infuser. It was a two-part thing. You put the hop flowers in one side, you had ice in the other side, so you'd run the beer through the hop flowers and you'd chill it down. But it was made out of two plastic white water filters. Didn't look really cool. I had this idea when I came back to Australia that I was going to create something similar, but it was going to be something that was impressive, something that could be a permanent fixture on the bar. And I did that while I was working at the Wigan Pen Brewery and Tavern way back in 2003, 2004. So we've got this beautiful little infuser here. We'll actually pull it apart. So if we pull it apart, lift it off, and this is what goes into our infuser. So basically what we have here, we have a little screen in the bottom which allows the ingredients to stay in suspension or in the beer. We also have this cooling coil in here which allows us to run our cooling through and keep the beer in the infuser nice and cold. We then have the beer coming up through this pipe here, and then it flows down through all the ingredients and actually out and straight to the tap here. So the beer that comes through this really gets that fresh infusion of whatever we've got in there. And we put lots of crazy things in there. We've obviously done the normal things like different hop flowers, but we've also stretched out and done things like chilies. We do a lot of fruits and raspberries. We haven't quite done the little chickens yet. I'm not sure we'll get to that one, but we do something that's quite good every winter, and that is we infuse our beer with some fruits, some spices, and some truffles. So let's put this back together and let's go out to the truffle farm. G'day, we're here at Blue Frog Truffles with Master Truffier Wayne Haslam. So we started off with the beer, but now we're going to talk a bit more in depth about truffles. And how did you get into being a truffier?
Oh dear. Well, it goes back to when I was retiring and I had to do something, and I got involved in this subdivision here and fell in love with the big dam that you saw on the way in. So I decided to buy this block and ended up with 63 acres and had to do something. So I looked at grapes. Everyone talked me out of that. I looked at olives. Nobody knew what to plant. And then I heard about truffles and I thought, well, that'll be good. If nothing else, there'll be a heap of trees here. Because all this was grazing land. There were no trees here at all. So that's how it happened.
And you started in what year was that?
Well, I planted the first lot in 2003 and started harvesting in 2007. So this is, 14th year.
Behind us here, we've got all these trees here. What types of trees have we got here? What produce the best truffles?
So if you're going to grow truffles, it's the same amount of work, pretty much whatever truffle variety you plant. So you might as well plant one that you're going to get the best return on, and black truffles is one of the best. So of all the thousands of truffle varieties, there's only about 6 that are of any interest to humans because they're the ones that we can smell. So truffles are normally the winter food for small forest-dwelling animals, and they're an amazing evolutionary fungus in that the only way they can propagate is to have something dig them up, eat them, and then spread the spore through the forest in the scats. Otherwise, the truffles are just going to sit in the ground. So that's why they've got this aroma. But of course, our lousy noses, we can only smell the really strong ones. So that's the 6.
And that's the reason why we have to, you have to get some dogs in to try and find them for you. And you partner with a lady, and she's got some dogs here today. So how about we go into the forest and let's go on a little truffle hunt.
Yeah, fine.
Let's find some truffles we can use to put in the beer.
That'd be great.
Well, thanks very much, Wayne, for having us here. Looks like I better get back to the brewery and put the truffle in the beer.
Super. There you are.
Thanks very much.
Great.
Cheers.
Much appreciated.
Okay, we've been out to Blue Frog Truffle Farm. We've had a great chat to Wayne Haslam out there, the truffier, who's been doing truffles since 2003. And we've actually been using truffles, or I've been using truffles since 2005. And this is a special beer that we do every year to showcase the truffles. So what we like to do is we like to cut these truffles up in really large slices. So we don't want to shave this over a delicate dish in a restaurant. We actually want to get really nice and thick slices to really allow that truffle to infuse into the beer over the course of a week. We've got all these other ingredients here that we're going to use as well. So we've got the kumquats. We've cut some of them up, some of them we've left whole. We've also got some cinnamon, we've got some star anise, and we've got some whole nutmeg. And what happens now is we'll put all the ingredients in the hoppenator. We'll then bring that beer through, infuse that hoppenator, fuse all those fruits and spices with the beer and the truffle, and then we're ready to pour a beer. So you can see all that beer now coming through. It's going to foam up a little bit as the carbonation and the little bit of nitrogen we add to this beer comes out of solution. As it builds up pressure, all that gas will go back into the beer. So we'll just wait for that beer to fill up. We'll then purge the last little bit of air out of the hoppenator, and then we'll pour a cold one. So we want to get this nice and full, make sure we get rid of all the oxygen. We don't want to oxidise the beer at all. Okay, so now we're going to pull through some beer. We're just going to pull through the first glass, make sure the lines are all nice and cleaned out, and then we'll have a beer to taste. Chuck a little bit of beer in the glass and really see that those aromas are coming through. Yeah, you can really pick up that citrus straight away. Some of that citrus from the kumquats is leached out into the beer. The spice character is starting to come through, and the truffle's starting to do its thing. So the glutamate in the truffle, there's a compound in the truffle called glutamate, and it actually is the umami factor. It's like the flavour enhancer of food. It actually combines all these beautiful spice and citrus characters in with all the lovely malt characters. G'day, thanks for taking the time to listen to an infuser, learn about an infuser, learn about ingredients, learn about a beer that uses truffles. So we're pretty proud of this beer, and if you're able to get into the brew pub and actually taste this amazing flavour contribution, flavour balance in this beer, it's great this time of year when it's nice and cool outside. Next episode, we're going to talk about a special beer that we created last year called Phlegm. It's a Flanders red style ale. We're going to go through all the barrel aging. We're going to go through the blending that goes into this beer, and you're actually going to learn about who Phlegm is. Yep, Phlegm's a real person. We'll talk about Phlegm. So till next time, cheers.